Okay, hi. This is my take 2. Hello, welcome to my channel. I have notes and I have the ocean machine going, the white noise machine going. I have all my notes here, and I'm going to just try to jump right into this video because it's probably going to be about 20 minutes long. Because I want to cover everything that's in here and just what's on my mind. And yeah, and I talk a lot anyway, so that's kind of what it is. So it is what it is, kind of thing. So I have an idea. There was another YouTuber that I was following for a while, and there were a lot of people who were supportive and kind and compassionate within that group community, in a sense, and things hit the fan, and there's been a lot of damage control and a lot of issues brought up and a lot of emotions and a lot of things like that. And there was a channel that was made to have all of us be able to discuss what was happening and what was going on, and that got deleted, so that sucks. So there's another new channel now. I won't mention specifics. If you're really curious about it, you can kind of find my last video is kind of like the comment section is just about what's going on and stuff, so, which is fine, by the way. I'm making this video so that this comment section can be also about that, with some ground rules in mind and some disclaimers and what to say and how to say it and that kind of thing. I don't want this to be a negative thing. Sorry, I just have to do something over there. My phone. Yeah, I don't want this to be a negative source of things. That's not what my channel is about. That's not in line with my values. But we'll get into that very, very soon. Again, this is probably going to be a bit of a talky video. If you don't like that, don't watch it. But I'm tentatively calling this support stand number 1. I might make it into a series if it's, you know, something a lot of people want to see. The idea would be to once to twice a month just kind of have like a support stand and have a video about, you know, what kind of things we've struggled in the last, you know, 2 weeks or whatever, and whatever span of time, and then like how are we coping with it and what are we doing that's healthy and positive to help ourselves in the short term and the long term. I did iOS today, ink on skin stuff. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what my channel is about personally as well. Just as like another, I actually have mentioned it in a different video, a few of them even, but I'm still behind in editing and everything. I'm definitely going to try to get this out by tomorrow, Saturday. It's currently October 5th, so as a kind of, it's a long weekend too, so I'll have time. But okay, on to the ground rules and what this is and what it's not, which I actually have a different page for. I wrote it all out, I swear. I wrote 5 little things. And just as an aside, I got my gel pens. You don't know it, but I did an Inktober thing the first day of October, and I was like, oh, I don't have my gel pens yet, but I got them the day after. So I'm going to talk about ground rules, and I tell you what this potential mini-series is and what it's not. I'm going to model my own example, and I'm going to just talk about my own channel's objectives. I know, it's going to be a lot, so, you know, buckle in. But, okay. Ground rule number 1. I don't know if I should go in order or not. let me, okay. I know, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm gonna try to minimally edit this as well. We'll see how that actually goes. So I told you a little bit already of the backstory of why necessarily this other, you know, channel has started and what I want this particular video to be about. I do not want it to be a place where we just shit on someone, because that's not something that I want to promote. You can talk about your feelings, like how you feel about a certain situation, and it can also be generalizable. I don't want it to be specific to this one person. I want it to be like, you know, my Uncle Bob told me X, Y, and Z, and it upset me, and this is what I did to handle it. Whether that be, maybe it wasn't a positive thing in the moment, maybe it was a healthy decision, and what kind of support can be gained from other people just to kind of keep you afloat in a sense. So in line with that, this is not a like crisis service. I am like one person running this channel, and I even only got like stuff coming out from in recent days even. So I can do my part, others can do their part, you know, provide, if you give us a little bit of information, just if you're in the US, if you're not, you know, where you are, not like specifically a town or anything like that, but like, you know, like for me, I'm in Massachusetts, so these hotline numbers, local centers, things like that, that would be helpful information for me to know. So same kind of thing, like other people can be like, oh, well, if you Google, you know, Lithuania, there are these hotline numbers, that kind of thing. But this itself is not, I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be in any way. I'm only an expert in my own experiences, and I can only sort of point you to other resources. So it's not like a crisis center. Please, big rule, don't mention specifics of methods of suicide, details of self-harm, details of substance abuse, you know, numbers of like eating disorder stuff. So like don't mention like calories and like weight numbers, things like that. Like none of that is okay. If you do that, if you break that rule, I will give you a warning, and if you break it, continue to break it, I will block you. Because I want this to be a safe place for people to be supported as much as possible. And the other thing too is like, if you have a problem, respect is a huge thing. So please be respectful. Be mindful of other people having different experiences coming here. You know, we don't all have the same background. Certain things we see in life are colored by our own perspective. So we're all unique in that kind of way. Sorry if I say a lot too. I'm not a great public speaker, if you can't tell. Humor is also good as well. That's a-okay. Swearing is fine. I swear a bunch, so, you know, if there can be other technicalities later on about that, but it is true that, you know, try to avoid, if someone says, you know, X, Y, and Z triggers me, don't like repeatedly, don't be a troll. Don't like be like, oh, this bothers you, I'll just say it more. Like don't do that. I'll block people who do that. In line with that, if you have a problem with someone, they're not respecting you, or you feel unheard, I encourage you to talk to that person directly first. If that doesn't work, or they retaliate against you, come to me, let me know about it. I will give them a warning, and if they continue to disrespect the rules, I will block them. So I want it, again, to be like a safe space, so people feel comfortable sharing their struggles. And even though you're sharing struggles, I want it to be more pushed towards behavioral changes. So, you know, I'll kind of go into my own example of that later, of what I'm expecting. Again, also not specific to the person who a lot of you guys have come from. Yes, we can talk about how we're going to deal with certain situations, but it could also be generalized to, like, my Uncle Bob did this, my dad did this, that kind of thing. So, yeah. This is like 10 minutes in, so this is probably the quickest I've ever moved. Verbally, at least. But, okay. So I said no details of particular methods, things like that. No trolling, big thing. I'm not used to trolling. I've only ever gotten like a couple troll comments from this other person's like community, like some of those things in there, and even then it was it was a whole thing, I swear. Like, if you're not in the loop, it will take you a couple of days to get in the loop, and I don't totally recommend that. So be respectful. Yeah, I'm encouraging handling it on your own. That would be a good use of communication skills, assertiveness. Don't be aggressive, though. I have something else to say to that, but I'll mention that later. Swearing is fine. I don't mind swearing. I swear a bunch, so that's fine. Consequences: if you break a rule, you'll have a verbal warning, and then if you continue to break it, I will block you. Be mindful of other people's experiences. You know, again, we all come from different backgrounds. What works for one person won't work for another person necessarily. So in that, actually use a lot of I statements. So don't be like, you should do X, Y, and Z, because that's giving advice, and that's, I mean, that's kind of what we're going to be doing, but like not like professional advice. Not like, I'm a doctor and this is what you have, and like don't do that. You can kind of make your own silent judgments if you want, like, oh, I think this person might be struggling with this. Have you thought about this? Have you brought this up with your treatment team? That's okay. Like, that's more like getting them involved in their own treatment. But we're not like professionals. We can't like, don't mention specifics about medications if you can. Like, that's kind of dodgy. I personally don't talk about that kind of stuff. It might be a case-by-case kind of basis, I would say. Things like that. So just kind of be aware of that. Be kind of like, you know, if you don't know what to say to someone and they're like, I'm, you know, say for me, my name is like, I don't know, Lexi or something, right? Say Lexi comes up and she's like, oh, hey, I'm not doing that great. Like, I'm having a lot of self-harm urges and I want to hurt myself and I don't know what to do. Like, those kind of like keywords and stuff. I would encourage, first of all, again, remember that this is not a crisis center. So encourage crisis centers, potentially local, try to get a little more information, find out if that person, if you're comfortable, of course, find out if that person is actively, you know, harming or wanting to kill themselves, things to that effect, things that are crisis emergencies, point them to the right direction, check in on them again if you're comfortable, that kind of thing. That's like basic, like, mental health first aid. So, you know, just kind of, I would stay away, don't go into specifics of like, I want to hurt myself this way and this is how I did it. Like, don't do that. That would be very triggering, and I will remove it because I don't want myself to getting involved in that kind of thing, just because I'm also in my own recovery, and that I was going somewhere with that, I swear. I swear I was. Forgot where I was going with that. So just be careful. I would the big thing I wanted to say was that this is the internet. So be mindful of what is posted on the internet. The internet doesn't tend to forget things. So just, again, be careful, you know, utilize common sense and keeping personal information private, thing like that. I can point again to some resources that I know of from social medias, but I would not recommend coming directly here as your only one support place. I think professionals are better suited for you since they know more specifically about you, and that's not something that I can provide here, either myself or other people. I don't want them providing like medical advice because that's not gonna fly very well. So just kind of be aware of that. Like, if you're struggling with something and you just want extra support about it, that's okay. That's okay. You know, and also try to be specific about what kind of support you're looking for. Like, are you just wanting to vent and like you just want someone to validate you, or are you looking kind of for a couple like tips and ways to help with it in a sense? So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it's not. I'll write it in the comments and stuff again. So just be aware of that. Just I think as a general practice, it's good to be aware that the internet isn't a crisis place. It's not necessarily an appropriate place to be like, hey, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z if no one responds. Also, threats will not be allowed. No sort of like, I'm gonna hurt myself if no one replies to me, or I'm gonna kill someone else or something, I don't know. But none of that will be tolerated. Just so you're aware of. This is a lot. I know it's a lot, but I really want to be strict about it, and I want to have it be upfront and dealt with appropriately. And I'm trying to have it be safe for myself and have it be safe for other people, which is a difficult task to do. So also please leave me your thoughts on the matter if you have suggestions, if you have things that could make this a better system. Besides all the dark stuff, my channel in general is about a lot of positivity and pro-recovery kind of things, so this is what I'm hoping would also be conveyed in the comments of this video and any potential series videos of it. You know, try to spread hope, spread the things that have helped you to get better, get through a crisis, get through whatever. You know, if you want to go into like, oh, I tried veganism because for X, Y, and Z, and you know, these are the types of meals that I make for myself, like that's okay. That's welcome. Definitely kindness, compassion, and being our best selves is also, like, if you want to do that, you can comment here. Like, you are welcome here under, you know, certain rules and expectations. Limits, know your limits. So if you're, I know for myself, I tend to have like an urge to want to help a lot, and sometimes I know that I can overextend myself, and I've definitely had times where I wanted to reach out more to someone. Just know what your limits are and what, like, where your treatment and your own priority begins and ends. So just be careful of who you give your information out to, and just be careful about, like, whether to get super involved and such. So that's going to be a case-by-case kind of basis as well. Like, it's going to be tricky. Again, just remember, too, what the point of the video is about, the channel, in a sense, like, in that way, at a larger term, but also specifically this particular video, and if any future videos come out of it, just be aware, like, you know, I might not be able, like, I'll usually have an urge to help, like, to send out, like, give someone my email address, which is public, by the way. The email address attached to this channel is completely public. I'll have, like, urges to want to do that, but at the same time, there are other times where I'm like, I have the urge, but I know I can't handle it right now. So you know, use your own discretion, what you're comfortable with, respect your own boundaries, and what you're willing to do or not do. And yeah. Judgment limits, judgment disclaimer, use I statements. I kind of used you a few times in here. It's a little hard if you're not used to using I statements. It's a little bit difficult. But use it, like, in a sense, I'll actually role model in a few minutes about, like, sorry, it's getting hot. I'll role model, like, my own example and what I'm kind of looking for the comments of this video. If it gets out of hand, I might delete it. I don't know for sure. I probably would leave it unless it's like something like really breaks all the rules and like is super triggering for myself. I'll have to kind of I've never done this before, so I'm new. Also be patient just in general too. I have my own life and my own busyness stuff out of the internet, so if you don't get a response right away, you prompt me with a little email or something. That's fine. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. Continuing pro-recovery is the basis of this channel. Coping skills, resources, extra help. So, you know, with the I statements, we're all experts in our own experiences. I statements are helpful because when you use a lot of you statements, people tend to feel attacked. and that can bring up, you know, aggression and things like that, and a lot of different emotions. And I statements are kind of like, this helped me because of X, Y, and Z, and like, there's more power and empowerment from using I statements than using you statements. So like, rather than like, you should try this, like, you can just be like, you know, I was in a similar situation and I did this, this, and this, and that's what helped me. Maybe trying those things might help, maybe they won't. We're all individuals. You get the drift. Okay. Sorry, 20 minutes in. So, but hopefully I'm not going too fast. Again, if you need me to repeat anything, just let me know. That's fine. Yep, I did that. A big thing too is going to be encouraging help-seeking behaviors. So, encourage the person to get local resources, national resources, things like that, their own therapist, medication, all that kind of stuff. Encourage that for sure. And then alongside with that, I think I mentioned it even earlier, you know, provide hope, like, be like, you know, it does get better. Validation, like, I understand what you're going through. I hear that sounds really difficult. You know, here's what helped me. Maybe this will help you. Those kind of things are good. Yeah, I'm playing it a lot by ear. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes for sure. I would like it to definitely be more generalizable. So, although it's kind of spawning from a particular person, I don't want it necessarily to remain on that one person. I want it to be kind of like, you know, my Uncle Bob did this, you know, yesterday. He talked about specific weights, and that triggered me. And here's how I'm trying to deal with it. What other things could I use? Like, that's fine. It's kind of like I just want this support stand to be like, how do I get myself from point A right here, which feels really shitty, to point, you know, C or D, and like, that's a better place for me to be able to think more clearly. And I will not tolerate threats, again, to self or others, so just be aware of that. Finally moved on to this one. What this is and what it's not. Again, support in a positive light, helping each other to learn how to help ourselves. Not a crisis resource, encouraging help, mindful of sharing experiences, use I statements, positivity, you know, maybe give like ideas for each other of like, oh, have you tried doing this positive random act of kindness? Like, you could send people letters, or just like a greeting card, or things like that. I want it to be like a safe space in a sense too. You know, respect each other, use appropriate pronouns, things like that. Be inclusive, no racial shit. And then maybe do this once to twice a month, depending on how it all goes. So I'm gonna give a model now. Finally got to that point. I'm just gonna model my own experience. This is what I have on this page. So I talk a lot, so it's gonna be, this is a regular thing on my channel. If you go through my other videos, you will see that it takes me a while to just say things. I feel like this is moving quicker than usual though, so that's good. Maybe, I don't know. I probably won't change my style too much, so it's just how I do things. I just talk a lot. If you see me in like comments and stuff too, I just talk a lot. It's just how I am. Okay, so I'm gonna model my own experience. So yesterday, so a lot of stressful things have happened this week for me in my life. A lot of like money and car trouble, things like that. So a lot of that I sort of started burning out yesterday, and you know, burnout, also known as compassion fatigue, is something that can happen to people in like caring professions and even on our just regular lives and everything. And I kind of reached my burnout point, and I tried calling a couple different hotlines, and it was, you know, I was waiting for like 5 minutes, and it just felt like a lot. And I tried different other ones, but they weren't open until a certain time. And then, like, you know, my counseling center at my university was still open, so I could use that, but I didn't want to go in necessarily. And then the last one that I called, I was on the phone, but they couldn't hear me and they hung up, and I was like really upset. So I went into full-blown anxiety crisis mode. I wound up pushing a red button, emergency button for public safety on campus because I was so distraught. Like, I knew I had to get to the counseling center, but I couldn't. Like, I didn't feel safe going there, even though I wasn't going to act on anything. It was purely OCD again, which was just great. An old friend, you know. But I got help. I went to the counseling center on emergency. I talked to a counselor I've spoken to a few other times, and I actually took notes in my journal. I can grab it real quick. It's this one. So I took notes in there. I'll probably share that, I'm sure, at some point. A little bit further about me as well. My name's Raquel, by the way. There's more about me in my About section on YouTube. I've had a channel since about December 2016. I don't really have an upload schedule, and editing videos has been a bit stressful for me, and I'm right now, especially with everything going on, I'm trying to keep it a little low stress. It is a long weekend though, so I might have a bit more time to be able to get this video in particular up, because I do want it up as soon as possible. So yeah, I had gone to the counseling center, got help, and it was a little traumatic, but getting there, more so. But I learned a lot about, like, not only identifying the things that trigger me in a negative sense, but also what are the things that trigger me in a positive sense. So that's also that kind of positivity spin that I hope to engage others in, and hopefully inspire other people to share their stories and come out about things that they're struggling with, and share hope and light that even though it gets really, really dark in our minds, it is possible to get better and to be stable. I have been going to a day program 3 days a week since about February, and it's helped tremendously. And this is actually the first really big crisis that I've had in 8 months. So it was just a lot, and a lot kind of caught up to me. So self-care is huge as well. So I didn't really listen to it right away. I don't think I realized how intense of a crisis it was. That was something that I learned yesterday and into this morning. I got support at program a bit, which was helpful. I was kind of still irritable. I'm also on my period, so that doesn't help. So there's multiple factors that got involved. But ultimately, I did what I thought was best for myself in that moment, and I think I made a good decision. I think I did what I thought was right in that moment, and I remained safe and didn't hurt myself in self-harm anyway, didn't kill myself. I'm still here. Survived it. My voice is kind of going, sorry. Let me get my jumbo coffee. Yeah, I got through it, so there's a brightness, you know. Even though it gets really dark, there is still the ability for things to get better. And I didn't wind up in the hospital either, so that's also really awesome. So I'm just kind of continuing to take care of myself. I took a shower this morning before I went to program, and then I drew on myself. This one says, be beautiful, like a ghost, because it's a ghost, and then this is just a rainbow with a cloud. I can put pictures at the end, maybe. And then I also did this, like, open hand, and all this rainbow coming out. So I did that. I kind of, drew a bit and just kind of relaxed. And I'm probably going to film another video tonight of just a drawing kind of stuff. And I really liked the idea of that positive spin on things. Like, yes, I could focus on how I catastrophize things, or I could focus on how I, what things I'm doing well, what victories I've had, those kind of things. And that's kind of what I want this to be about as well. So basically, yeah, that's my own, that's how I would, me explaining all of that, I wanted to just kind of role model that's the kind of way to frame it in the comments down below. So just kind of keep that in mind. Little story, little example, role modeling thing. Lastly, I'm finally on the final point. My channel objectives. Again, my channel, if you haven't noticed, is called Recovery to Wellness. I am just a little bit more about me. I'm a 25-year-old senior at UMass Boston. I live in Massachusetts. I'm a psychology major. This is my final semester. I have to figure out one of my classes that I took as a transfer credit didn't compute, so I have to actually make sure I do graduate this fall. But if everything goes well and according to plan, then I will graduate in the fall. I hope to become one day an art therapist, maybe. I have some art therapy-based project ideas that I've wanted to create for a while and still have to work on. I run a blog on WordPress under the same name. I want to get back into reading my articles that I have put into the school newspaper. I did all of 2016. I have to do from spring 2017 to now, so that will be interesting. My channel is about recovery and wellness, less about mental health specifically, because I have found that triggering in the past, so I want to focus more on positivity, kindness, compassion, and like how we access those recovery personas that we all, have. My own personal diagnoses: I live with OCD, on self-harm and suicide obsession, so intrusive thoughts. Pretty evident from yesterday. Still got that. If you want to know more about my story, my blog, my other videos, feel free to check it out. It's a shameless self-promo. What was I saying? Secondary depression, borderline personality disorder, tendencies-ish. I don't know. It's all the same, I guess. Trichotillomania. I have my eyebrow finally grew back in. You'll notice that, and a few other. I only pull for my eyelashes and my eyebrows. What else? Oh, and suicidal ideation, self-harm. I haven't self-harmed in a few months though, so that's pretty good. I got really close this week, but I did a different behavior. I'm going to a day program 3 days a week, learning a lot of DBT skills. I have wanted to make lessons learned lectures, so L3s, and it's sort of just basic information about different DBT skills and sort of doing like teachable moments and such. So that's something I want to still do. I started it and I've had problems with editing software, so be patient on that end. If necessary, I can probably figure out a schedule or something for myself, probably weekends. So I could probably film during the week a little bit, and then like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then edit and stuff on the other 2 days, but also do my schoolwork and also write, and also there's a lot of things. We'll see. I don't make any guarantees on that. Yep, my own experiences, editing issues, yeah. Art and music is a huge part of my recovery, so you will definitely hear me talk a lot about that, especially in recent articles that I have written for the paper this semester. I'm all about positivity and kindness and compassion for oneself and other people, which sometimes it's easier to do it with other people than it is to do it with ourselves. But I like giving out. There's actually a video I filmed last Saturday with a friend of mine, actually, the first collab I had on my channel, and it's about like making like strangers like stationary goodie bags, so kind of spreading positivity and such that way. Resources beyond myself and my channel, so crisis support, local centers, national centers, worldwide, international centers, all that kind of jazz. Some vlogs. I want to do a couple school-related ones because I think that'd be nice for my last semester. And miscellaneous things. I have like ink on skin kind of videos and more art-specific ones, life updates. So a couple of my videos of this year, when I fell out of making them, I did a couple text-based videos, which is actually the last video that I put up, just as like a really quick, like, hey, I'm alright and everything. So, just so, you know, we got through it all. I swear I'm done talking now. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you got something from it. And I hope that anyone who has recently come off from that other channel, I encourage you to process emotions, but just be mindful of the rules and, try not to bring up that particular person. You know, if there's other people in your life that have triggered you in some way, and you need a little place to vent it out for a little bit, or get some advice on, not too much advice, but a little bit of like, what has helped other people, what could you do to help other people, all that kind of jazz, then this is the comment section for you. Again, positivity, encouragement, and validation, highly encouraged and required in a sense. And you guys are really pretty good about it too, so I don't have too many worries about it. That I really just came up with this idea today, so and I don't want to step on too many toes like other people and what they're trying to do, so there's that. I'll be around in the comments. I might be able to get this up today, I don't know. We'll see, because I want to try and take it slow. So yeah, how many times did I say in this video? Yeah, again. I was about to say it again. Okay. Yeah. That's everything I wanted to say. So I'm gonna end it here before I keep talking. And what's my farewell? Farewell is stay safe, take care, be well, much love and light to you. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, what you would like to see out of my channel as a whole. If you're new here, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What could I do better? Talk less. Probably. And yeah, just let me know about stuff, and I will try to implement it where I can. I might not take your advice, just to be fair. Depending on how, you know, how I'm doing and things like that. Like, it might not sink in. I appreciate it on certain levels. Like, if it's like, you know, talk a lot less, Raquel, like, you talk too much. Like, I may not change how I do things. I like the kind of just talking to a camera, that kind of thing, personally. So, I don't know how much I'll actually... This description is probably going to be a bitch to write too, but oh well. Okay, so it's 40 minutes, so I am like past due on my time to end. So I gave you my little goodbye speech, and I will try to work on this video if I can, tonight maybe, and try to get it up tomorrow. So yeah, let me know in the comments what kind of things you need support around, and let's all encourage each other and be positive. And even if we can't find the positivities, be open enough to be able to look for those positivities. And yeah. Okay. Alright. Bye.